I was buried in my neuroscience textbook when Sophia kissed me. The clock on my desk read 11:47 p.m. My notes were scattered across the wooden surface, highlighters uncapped, coffee gone cold. I didn't hear her footsteps. 1 second I was alone with the faint hum of the dorm radiator. The next, her hand brushed the side of my neck, tilted my chin up, and her lips pressed against mine. Soft. Warm. Terrified. I jerked backward so fast the chair legs scraped the floor. Sophia, what the hell? She stood frozen in the narrow space between my desk and her bed, cheeks flaming, eyes wide like she'd just committed a crime. Her voice came out small. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Emma. My heart hammered against my ribs. I could still taste the mint chapstick she always wore. You kissed me. She nodded once, then looked away. I've wanted to for a long time. The room felt too small. The junior year dorm we shared in Boston University's Warren Towers suddenly felt like a cage. I stared at her, my roommate of 2 years, the girl who made me ginger tea when I had cramps, who remembered I hated olives on pizza, who cried with me the night my dog died back home in Ohio. And now she was telling me she was in love with me. I swallowed hard. How long? Since freshman orientation. The first day we met. 18 months. She had carried this secret for 18 months while we laughed over late-night ramen, while I told her about every guy I went on dates with, while I cried on her shoulder after every breakup. I felt sick. Say something, she whispered. I don't know what to say. My voice cracked. I'm straight, Sophia. She gave a shaky laugh that sounded more like a sob. I know. I've told myself that every single day. I pushed my chair back farther until it hit the wall. My mind raced through 1,000 micro-moments. The way she always chose the seat next to me in the dining hall. How she saved the last blueberry muffin for me. How she got quiet whenever I mentioned a new guy. I had thought she was just protective. Protective best friend stuff. Not this. I stood up. My legs felt unsteady. I need air. I grabbed my jacket and left without looking back. The hallway was cold and fluorescent bright. I walked all the way to the stairwell and sat on the top step, head in my hands. My phone buzzed. Sophia. Text. I'm sorry. I never wanted to ruin our friendship. I just couldn't keep pretending anymore. I didn't reply. I couldn't. Instead, I opened my camera roll and scrolled back to move-in day freshman year. There we were, both 19, awkward smiles, arms around each other in front of the dorm. I had written in my journal that night, found my person. Sophia's going to be my best friend for life. Now that sentence felt like a lie. I stayed on the stairs until 2 a.m. When I finally crept back into the room, the lights were off. Sophia's bed was empty. She had left a note on my pillow. I'll stay with Jess tonight. Take all the time you need. S. I lay down fully clothed, staring at the ceiling. My lips still tingled. My chest felt cracked open. For the first time in 2 years, I was terrified of the girl sleeping 3 feet away from me every night. And I had no idea what to do next. The next morning, Sophia's side of the room was still empty. She had texted once. Staying at Jess's until you're ready to talk. I didn't know when that would be. I went to my 9 a.m. cognitive psych lecture on autopilot. Professor Ramirez was talking about implicit bias, and every example felt like it was aimed at me. Had I really been that blind? After class, my phone rang. Mom. Hey, sweetie. How's studying going? I almost laughed. Fine. You sound off. Everything okay with Sophia? I froze. Why do you ask? She always sounds so nice when I hear her in the background. You two still getting along? I mumbled something about final stress and hung up. I couldn't tell her. My parents were the kind of Christians who still sent me articles about the homosexual agenda whenever anything LGBTQ+ appeared on the news. Coming home with a girlfriend wasn't an option. It wasn't even a thought. At lunch I sat with my friend Marcus. He took one look at my face and said, "Spill." I told him everything, omitting the kiss at first, then admitting it. Marcus's eyebrows shot up. She kissed you? Like on the mouth? I nodded. Damn. You okay? I don't know. He leaned forward. Do you like her back? No, I said automatically. Then I hesitated. At least I never thought about it before. Marcus shrugged. Sometimes feelings sneak up on you. That afternoon I went to the library to study, but I couldn't focus. Every time I closed my eyes I saw Sophia's face right before she kissed me. Scared, hopeful, brave. At 6 p.m. my phone lit up. Sophia. Text. Can we talk tonight? I'll come back to the room at 8 if that's okay. I typed and deleted 3 replies before I settled on. Okay. She walked in at 7:58. She looked exhausted, eyes red, hair in a messy bun. We sat on my bed 3 feet apart. I'm not going to apologize for how I feel, she said quietly. But I am sorry for how I told you. It was selfish and unfair. I stared at my hands. Why now? After all this time? Because watching you go on dates with guys who didn't deserve you was slowly killing me. I couldn't do it anymore. Silence stretched. I need time, I finally said. I don't know how I feel. I don't know if I can be what you want. She nodded, lips pressed tight. I'm not asking you to be anything. I just needed you to know the truth. That night we slept in the same room for the first time since the kiss. Neither of us spoke. The distance between our beds felt like an ocean. 3 days later I went home to Ohio for Thanksgiving break. My mother hugged me at the airport like I'd been gone for years. Dad was waiting in the car. On the drive home they asked the usual questions, grades, friends, boys. I answered on autopilot until Mom said, "How's Sophia? Still your roommate next semester?" I felt my throat tighten. Yeah. She's such a sweet girl. You two are lucky to have each other. I stared out the window at the gray Ohio fields and wondered what they would say if they knew. That night I lay in my childhood bed surrounded by old posters and stuffed animals. My phone buzzed. Sophia. Text. Hope your flight was okay. Missing our late night talks. I didn't reply. On Thanksgiving Day my aunt asked if I had a boyfriend yet. My cousin smirked. I forced a smile and said I was focusing on school. Later, alone in the kitchen, I opened Instagram. Sophia had posted a photo of her and her younger sister baking pies. She was smiling, but her eyes looked tired. I almost liked the photo. Then I remembered my mother sometimes checked my liked posts. I closed the app. That night I dreamed about the kiss. In the dream I kissed her back. I woke up gasping. The next morning my mother found me crying in the bathroom. What's wrong, baby? I almost told her everything. The words were on my tongue. Mom, Sophia kissed me. She's in love with me. I think I might feel something too. Instead I said, just stressed about finals. She hugged me. You'll be okay. You always are. I hated myself for lying. When I flew back to Boston on Sunday, Sophia was waiting at the airport gate. She looked nervous, holding 2 cups of coffee. Peace offering, she said. I took the cup. Our fingers brushed. My stomach flipped. We took the tea back to campus in silence. Halfway through the ride she spoke. I'm not expecting anything from you. I want us to be okay. Even if it's just friends. I looked at her profile, strong jaw, long lashes, the tiny scar on her eyebrow from when she fell off her bike at 12. I don't know if I can go back to just friends, I whispered. She turned to me, hope and fear warring in her eyes. Then what do you want? I didn't have an answer. The rumors started the week after Thanksgiving. Someone had seen us at the airport. Someone else claimed they heard crying through our dorm wall. By Wednesday, half the floor was whispering that Sophia and I were dating. Marcus pulled me aside after psych class. People are saying you two hooked up. I groaned. We didn't. But something happened, right? I nodded. He sighed. You know how this campus is. Small. Nosy. The worst part came on Friday. I walked into the dining hall and saw Sophia sitting with her ex, Lauren. They were laughing. Lauren reached over and tucked a strand of hair behind Sophia's ear. The same gesture Sophia had used on me the night of the kiss. Jealousy hit me so hard I almost dropped my tray. I turned around and left without eating. That night Sophia came back late. I was waiting. Who's Lauren? I asked before she could sit down. She looked surprised. My ex. From last year. Why? I saw you two today. Sophia's face softened. We're just friends now. She was checking on me because she heard the rumors. I wanted to believe her. I didn't. Are you sleeping with her? The question came out sharper than I intended. Sophia's eyes widened. No. God, no. Emma, I've been in love with you for almost 2 years. I haven't been with anyone since we moved in together. I believed her. And that scared me more. The next morning I woke up to a text from an unknown number. Stay away from Sophia. She's mine. I blocked the number. But the damage was done. Paranoia set in. 2 days later, someone spray-painted Dyke on our door. Security came. They asked if we had enemies. Sophia looked at the floor. I said nothing. That night she packed a bag. I'm moving in with Jess for a while. Give you space. Give the gossip time to die. I wanted to ask her to stay. Instead I nodded. She paused at the door. I never wanted this for you. I'm sorry. Then she was gone. I sat on the floor staring at the word "doy" that maintenance hadn't fully painted over. For the first time I understood the cost. Christmas break was hell. My parents kept asking why I seemed distant. I told them I was tired. On Christmas Eve my older brother pulled me aside. Mom and Dad are worried about you. Is there a guy? I almost laughed. No guy. Then what? I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. That night I lay in bed and finally admitted it to myself. I was falling in love with Sophia. The realization didn't feel like fireworks. It felt like stepping off a cliff. I texted her at 2 a.m. Me, I miss you. She replied immediately. Sophia, I miss you too. We talked every day after that. Careful, tentative conversations. No pressure. No labels. When we both returned to campus in January, she moved back in. The first night, she slept on her bed. I slept on mine. The second night, I asked if she wanted to watch a movie. We sat on my bed, backs against the wall, knees touching. Halfway through the movie, she reached over and laced her fingers through mine. I didn't pull away. That was the beginning. We didn't kiss again for 3 weeks. When we finally did, it was slow and careful and completely different from the first time because this time I kissed her back. The world didn't end. But the trouble was just starting. My mother called in February. Your cousin saw something on Instagram. Is there something you want to tell us? I panicked and lied. No. Sophia heard the conversation. After I hung up, she asked, Are you going to tell them? I don't know. She nodded, but I saw the hurt in her eyes. 2 weeks later, my parents announced they were coming to Boston for a surprise visit. I begged them not to. They insisted. The night before they arrived, Sophia and I had our first real fight. I'm not ready, I said. Then when will you be ready? She asked, voice shaking. After graduation? After I've wasted 3 more years waiting for you to choose me. I didn't have an answer. She slept at Jess's that night. My parents arrived the next morning. They met Sophia for the first time since move-in day. Mom hugged her. We've heard so many good things. I felt like I was going to vomit. That evening, while Sophia was in the bathroom, my mother pulled me aside. Honey, is everything okay between you two? You seem tense. I forced a smile. We're fine. But we weren't. My parents stayed 3 days. Every meal, every conversation felt like walking through a minefield. On their last night, we had dinner at a small Italian place near campus. Halfway through the meal, my father cleared his throat. Emma, your mother and I have been talking. We think it might be healthier for you to have a single room next year. Less distraction. I froze, fork halfway to my mouth. Sophia went very still beside me. Mom continued gently. We just want what's best for you, honey. We know how close you two are, but sometimes boundaries are important. I looked at Sophia. Her face was pale. I heard myself say, Actually, we're dating. The words dropped like a bomb. My father's face went blank. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. Sophia reached under the table and squeezed my fingers so hard it hurt. The rest of the dinner was a blur of tears, raised voices, and my mother whispering, This is a phase, while my father stared at Sophia like she was a stranger. When they finally left for their hotel, Sophia and I walked back to the dorm in silence. She started crying the moment the door closed. I'm sorry, I kept repeating. I'm so sorry. She shook her head. You chose me. In front of them. I never thought you would. I pulled her into my arms. We stood there in the middle of the room, both crying, both shaking. The next morning my parents demanded I come home immediately. I refused. They cut off my tuition for the rest of the year. I had to take out emergency loans and get a part-time job at the campus bookstore. Sophia helped me move my stuff out of the dorm and into a tiny studio we could barely afford. That summer I came out to my entire family over Zoom. My aunt hung up. My brother told me he loved me but didn't agree with my lifestyle. My mother cried and said she would pray for me. Sophia's family, on the other hand, welcomed me with open arms. Her mother hugged me and said, "We've been waiting for Emma to become official." By senior year we had been together for 14 months. We still fought about money, about my family's rejection, about whether we should move to California after graduation where it felt safer. But we also laughed. We cooked terrible dinners together. We held each other on nights when the world felt too heavy. In May, on graduation day, Sophia pulled me aside after the ceremony. She got down on one knee in front of the entire crowd, holding a simple silver ring. "Emma Thompson, will you marry me?" I said yes before she finished the question. My parents weren't there. They hadn't spoken to me in 11 months. As Sophia slid the ring onto my finger, I felt both the deepest joy and the sharpest grief I had ever known. We had chosen each other. We had lost almost everything else. Now I have to ask myself every single day, was it worth it? Trading family, safety, and certainty for a love that still feels terrifying and fragile and impossibly right? Or did I break my parents' hearts for something that might one day break mine too? You decide.